grade tiny toddlers. This is Pooja Bhasin working on Vikramas as English mentor. Today, I'm going to start with a chapter which is really an interesting chapter and a fun-loving chapter for our students. They love to know more about the protagonist of the chapter over here. And the protagonist is Monkey, right? So whatever antics he does in the chapter, they find it quite interesting. Besides the fun, we have a lesson as well giving us that every animal on the earth we like and we appreciate is not to be kept as a pet. They have their own nature and they adapt themselves to the environment, and as per their nature, they love living the way they are being born to. So, to begin with, let's start with the chapter about Toto, right? And I really bet you're going to love this chapter being with me. Fine. Now, Toto the monkey. The name of the monkey is Toto, and there is a grandfather who has his private zoo, right? Now, in this slide over here, a beautiful slide, a colorful slide, we are finding grandfather talking to the original owner of Toto, and he's a Tonga driver, right? Now, grandfather is conversing with the Tonga driver. He likes Toto, he likes the monkey, and he asks Tonga driver that he wants to purchase this monkey. And in return, Tonga driver says that definitely he would sell monkey to him, but the price of the monkey will be 5 rupees. The price of the monkey will be 5 rupees, right? Now, the times when this chapter was written down, 5 rupees really had a worth in itself, unlike the present times when we find that we take just 5 rupee note and go to the market and we come back with just few toffees, handful of toffees, or a small chocolate in our hand, right? So during the times this chapter was written down, we can really see that the price of the monkey that time, if it costed that time rupees 5, so means the 5 rupee note really had a worth in the market, right? Now finally the deal is done between grandfather and the Tonga driver, and Toto is sold off and purchased. Now, when grandfather had purchased Toto, he found that this is not the right time to unfold the information to his wife, grandmother, because he had his own private zoo, and he didn't want that time that this time I should inform my wife, that is grandmother, about the coming of Toto, because that would be something extra burden on his wife. Now, to be honest enough, students, just keep it in mind that whenever we keep animals or pets at home, it doesn't mean that keeping them is all suffice in our life. If we have kept them, it turns to be our prime duty perhaps to take care of them, or inform our parents or our other people, our kins, our other family member about the care and the feeding, whatever we have to supply to our pets, right? Now over here, grandfather, he was highly reluctant. I told you, to inform his wife about the advent of Toto. So he said that I'll keep Toto for few days at a safer place, wherein my wife would not come to know about Toto, because I don't want to give extra or additional responsibility to her at this point of time, else she would turn mad. Mad over here doesn't mean that she would go crazy, but she would find that this is something extra burden on her, right? Now, let's read. Grandfather brought Toto. Now, since I told you that the deal was done, and grandfather, he purchased Toto from Tonga driver for the sum of 5 rupees, and the Tonga driver used to keep a little red monkey. Basically, why he purchased monkey? Because he really had petite monkey that time. This red monkey tied to a feeding trough. He was tied very tightly where he was really not comfortable enough, and grandfather wanted to keep him at a comfortable place, right? Now, and the monkey looked so out of place there. So monkey was really out of place because that was not a proper place for an animal to be kept. So that is why grandfather decided that he would add the little fellow to his private zoo. I've already informed you right in the beginning of the chapter that this fellow, grandfather, had his private zoo, means he had lot many animals already staying with him, right? Now, the next slide says that I think I should keep Toto secret. Now, over here he is making plans with other people in the zoo that let's keep Toto secret. Let's not tell everything to grandmother. On the day when grandma is in a good mood, whenever she's in a good mood, I find that this is a suitable time. Then I would tell her about Toto. I will put him in my private zoo. I think grandma won't be happy if I bring the monkey home. She will get mad if I got any more animals at home because already there were so many animals over there. So he found that now this is something extra which I am bringing to my zoo, and I definitely I would find one fine day coming in my life to inform grandma about it. Right. Now, these all plans were made with the other people in the zoo or his friends, or in his mind, there were certain strategies made, and he was waiting now a suitable day to come in his life. Now, when grandfather goes back home, he will tell grandma about the Toto. Now, this we have understood from the previous slides, right? This is all done. This is all planned. Now, one day, grandfather had all his plans to go somewhere, and he could not keep Toto back at home. Reason behind, because grandmother had no idea of Toto's existence in the zoo. So grandfather, he made up a plan that he'll keep Toto in a small bag, suitcase kind of a bag, and he will travel along with the Toto to the place, to the destination where he had plans for. I think kind sir, this is not a dog and this is a monkey. Now, this situation comes when he traveled all the way along, and when he was showing his ticket to ticket conductor, that time Toto couldn't be quiet in the bag. He was kept. He started feeling restless. He was really that time in a condition to come out of the bag, right? Just look at Toto and see how naughty he is. Oh, and when he came out of the bag in front of this ticket collector, he used the words and that time when ticket collector inquired about what is in the bag, grandfather said, "Oh, nothing. It's a dog." And in the reply to what grandfather said, the words of ticket collector were that no, they were really plain in the nature. And he said, "No, sir, this looks like some other creature and this is not a dog." Right? He says, "I'm sorry, sir, you have to pay 3 more rupees for dog pets." So he said, no, sir, I don't think so. This is a dog pet. But grandfather in return said, "No, this is a dog pet." Then he said, "Okay, whichsoever pet you have in the bag, you have to pay rupees 3 more. Now, this is some extra wages for the grandfather to pay in lieu of carrying Toto to another place, right? So this shows that Toto was really so restless that he couldn't keep himself inside the bag for few minutes, even whilst the time grandfather was showing his ticket to the postmaster over there. Now, Uh, Over here, this dialogue shows that, kind sir, this is not a dog, this is a monkey. This is a conversation between these two people. Now, when this had happened and grandpa had to give 3 more rupees over there on the platform, he thought that now this is the right time to inform grandma about Toto, because every time he's leaving his private zoo, he cannot take Toto with him because he'll be charged extra for carrying a pet with him. Right now, over here, when Toto was finally accepted by grandmother, she didn't create any scene, though reluctantly. But yes, grandfather, when opened up the news in front of grandmother, so she accepted Toto like other animals, right? So he was given a comfortable home. Now he started living in a very comfortable home in the stable, where he had a companion, and the companion name was Donkey. So now he was shifted to a very comfortable place, and that was a stable, wherein and in the stable he had his companion as a donkey. This donkey was already staying with grandfather, and this donkey is really shown a very nice character over here, a very patient character, the one who really knew how to live with other animals, right? And his name was Nana. The name of the donkey is Nana. On Toto's first night in the stable. Now, his first night in the stable, he spent his first night over there. And what he did with Nana, that is donkey, grandfather paid a visit to see if he was comfortable. To his surprise, he found that Nana, without apparent cause, pulling at the halter and trying to keep her head as far as possible from the bundle of hay. Now, what is a bundle of hay? Bundle of hay is the fodder of the donkey, right? So now a surprise visit was given by grandfather in the stable during the night to find out if Toto was okay with Nana. And to his surprise, he found that Nana was pulling at her halter and trying to keep her head as far as possible, because he was trying to keep himself away from the fodder he was given to eat. Now, the reason was that Toto was really disturbing Nana and was not letting him eat comfortably or even to stay in the stable comfortably. Now, next episode of Toto. There was a large kitchen kettle that had been kept on the fire to boil for tea. House was making tea, right? And finding himself with nothing better to do, he decided to remove the lid. Finding the water just warm enough for a bath, he got in with his head sticking out from the open kettle, and this was just fine for a while until the water began to boil. Now, he was given warm water to take bath. All of a sudden, when the family was making tea, he took off the lid from the kettle and he found that the water was lukewarm. He entered inside the kettle as if this is the water for him to take bath. But all of a sudden, since the kettle was on the stove, was on the gas, it started boiling. And when he realized that the water is boiling now, the water was really, really boiling that time. So he created hue and cry over there. He cried a lot, shouted a lot. But otherwise, what was the routine of Toto? It was the great treat for Toto during cold winters. During cold winters, evenings, he was given a large bowl of warm water, and this was given by grandmother for his bath. He would cunningly test the temperature with his hand and then gradually step in the bath. So he was very, very intelligent and cunning when it came to his own personal use of things, right? Now, first 1 foot he would put inside the water during evenings, winter evenings, and then the other until he was into the water up to the neck. So when he realized that now the water is lukewarm enough and suitable for his bath, he would very slowly and enjoyingly step inside the water and enjoy splashing the water all around. But now this time, though he was in habit of doing all this stuff, but now this time when in the large kitchen water was kept on the gas, he knowingly or unknowingly, but he was, I told you, he was very notorious by his nature. Now over here we cannot say that he did it knowingly or he did it unknowingly, but he stepped inside the bowl. The time he stepped inside the bowl, water was really lukewarm, which he started enjoying. But since the stove was on, from the down, water all of a sudden started boiling and he was hurt that time, right? So this was another notorious act of his which really brought a huge problem to the entire family and to the grandfather and grandmother as well. Now, we found that the walls which had been covered with some ornamental paper. Now, walls were really decorated with ornamental papers. And what he did to the walls, this is something to add on. I'm telling you what all he did during the times he was staying with grandfather and grandmother. They stood out naked. Why they stood out naked? Just because they were torn out by Toto. So the walls of the room were really beautiful before Toto entered the house. But finally, once when he entered the house, he tore out all the wallpapers on the wall, and these wallpapers were chosen by grandfather. Now there were naked bricks, there was plaster, and the peg in the wall had been wrenched from its socket. So the peg where they used to hang their clothes, it had been taken off from the socket, and my school blazer which had been hanging there was in shreds. The school blazer of the child was completely torn out, was completely in shreds. Now we can really make out that he was not a character to be kept at home. Though he was cunning, he was intelligent, but he was not meant to be kept for home. Right? Now, this slide is definitely, I've told you that when he went inside the water and the water was boiling, that time this had happened, that water was kept for tea and he stepped inside the water. So I would not be explaining this slide once again. Now, one day at lunchtime, now this was a horrible action of Toto, which really had put grandfather and grandmother to the edge of taking the decision of leaving the Toto forever and ever, though they had done it with a heavy heart, because by the time they had taken this decision, they were directly or indirectly, they were now connected to Toto, and they had a silent bondings with Toto as well, right? But they had to take this decision because now this action of Toto tells us that he had gone to the extreme condition, right? Now, there was a large dish of pulao stood in the center of the dining table. They all were about to eat their food. There was a large pulao dish kept in the center of the dining table, and we entered the room to find Toto stuffing himself with the rice. So before anyone else could eat, he was the only one who had eaten the entire bowl of rice. My grandmother screamed and Toto threw the plate at when grandmother, she screamed out of anger that, Toto, what are you doing? This food has to be eaten by everyone. So out of anger, he threw the plate at grandmother. One of my aunts rushed forward and received the glass of water in the face. So they cleaned the face of grandmother with water. When grandfather arrived, Toto picked up the dish of pulao and made his exit through a window. He picked up the pulao dish and he ran out of the window. We found him in the branches of jackfruit tree, the dish still in his arms, and he remained there all afternoon. The entire afternoon he was there enjoying his pulao. eating slowly through the rice, determined on finishing every grain of rice. So this is what he was doing, being there at home. Now, finally, uh, this slide shows that this was a final conversation with Toto, telling him that you are now gone worse. First you came, you scratch our walls, then you scare our animals and won't let them sleep at night. This is about Nana, the first incident I told you, and now you want to steal our food as well. Toto come back here with our food, and oh my God, this all had, no, this conversation had undergone during the times he was taking away the dish, grandmother screaming, grandfather trying to console, and but the entire house was in topsy-turvy, right? Now, this episode shows now grandfather wants to sell Toto back to a Tonga driver. He says, I want to sell him back for the same price I had given earlier, that is 5 rupees. Now he says to Tonga driver that, yes, I want to sell it back to you for 5 rupees. Fine, I will take him back, but only for the price of 3 rupees. Sir, I'm sorry, but I would like to return Toto because he's very, very troublesome and my wife is very annoyed. Oh, Now he says, okay, I'll take the Toto back, but you can pay me just 3 rupees, right? And finally, the Toto was sent to the place he was bought from. This chapter really teaches us a lesson. And the lesson is that not every animal has to be kept at home, right? Though the chapter tells us about the antics of Toto, which are remarkable, which are fascinating as well, but also teaches us that we should not encage all sorts of animals, or even we should keep the animals in our so-called zoo. If they are meant for the world around, for the universe around, for the forest, let them be. Hope you loved the chapter, and I loved telling you about the chapter, right? So be with me on Vikramas every time. Bye-bye. Take care. Thank you for watching me.